We are the consulting firm of Rivera, Grassel, and Knight. We are here to provide solutions in the area of career development. The goal of this initiative is not only to provide career development pathways, but also to turn staff burnout back to staff engagement and increase motivation. Our firm is composed of me, Ruby Rivera, Erica Grassel, and Paul Knight. Erica is a student of organizational development, and she's under the guidance of professional vocational consultant, and she's the best contact to help bring you the best possible results for your church. She also has a bachelor's degree in Christian ministry and have extensive experience working at the church in both paid and volunteer capacities. Paul Knight has been a part of the local church leadership for over 12 years. He has worked in churches ranging from 100 to 1,000 people. Ruby, me, I work in the marketplace. I function as the director of operations for a small creative company, and a human resource in a small business for several years, and with a very diverse. I have experience in working in a very diverse cultural workplace, and training and development, and business and finance. So together, we hope to bring you the best solutions for all the challenges that your organization might be facing.
Executive summary. 12 Stone Church. Staff cannot keep up with exponential organizational growth, and career development and burnout symptoms are being neglected. Also, the assessments and care. The ones that we're going to use are Holland Occupational Themes, Stand Up 2.0, and Core Values Inventory to help move in the right direction in regards of career development, and also understanding the needs of the staff to curtail burnout. And then also using care and pastoral care on the pastors themselves, and mentoring, counseling, and retreats. And then Super's career development theory is age and life journey based developmental plan and guided towards through exploration, establishment, maintenance, and disengagement phases, with a wide range of age when it comes to the staff at 12, so from 22 to 62. Super's career development theory adds a great base and foundation for how to move staff from one phase to the next as they grow old. But also it's a great place when it comes to any type of career transition, even in the midst of their age doesn't necessarily line up with the quote-unquote stage they should be in. All right, and the benefits of the presentation: increased motivation, high work engagement, and decrease in staff turnover, which we know a decrease in staff turnover helps the bottom line, keeps costs lower, because it costs more to move someone out and train someone new than it does to keep people and move them forward in their career. And the continued growth of the kingdom of God, which as a church organization, that's your top priority. That's your main call. Your mission number one from Jesus. And so that's part of the benefits of what we're doing here for career development. Next, 12 Stone Church project background and scope. Growth. There's been amazing growth the past 3 years, 3 to 8, from 3 then to 8 campuses in 3 years, 60% increase in ministerial staff, and then staff range in age from 22 to 62, like we said earlier. And the career development. There is no career development plan in place. And so people, even though you're in an amazing place as a church to provide meaningful work to your people, that meaning can be lost really fast when there seems to be no track for them to grow themselves, and for them no track for them to grow their career, their occupation. And so then inevitably burnout happens. With the exponential growth over the past 3 years, job demands have risen above available resources. And when job demands increase over the available resources people have, stuff will happen where energy will turn into exhaustion, and just a positive attitude will turn into cynicism, and even efficiency or efficacy, it will turn into ineffectiveness. And so staff is beginning to show signs of all these three signs of burnout: exhaustion, cynicism, and ineffectiveness. And so we are here to provide you a way through that, a methodology. So there's two specific methods we can use as our base for this assessment. As I stated earlier, Super's career development theory. And so the developmental tasks you see for four of the stages that you currently are employing. The first one is exploration. So identify interest, skills, fit between self and work. So then less than 30, really even kind of at that like 24 to 25 range age is where kind of the end point of exploration is for Super would define it. I think now as things are going, the people are doing things later in life as far as getting married, buying their first house, having their first kids, etc. This stage is kind of getting played out longer and longer. So yeah, so less than 30, that 30 age is about right in our society we live in now, in our culture. And so activities to help them, helping, learning, following directions. So the relationship to other employees, because this is kind of more the apprentice stage of their career development. So they are looking to be apprenticed, to be mentored, to be guided. This is a great time to take the assessments to find a specific occupation that they want to be a part of that fits their skills, and then saying, okay, now we know where you're at, we're going to put you in the right place in our organization that fits you well, fits your skills, and someone who is older than you is going to come alongside you and mentor you, apprentice you through this occupation to grow you and move you into the establishment phase, which is the next phase, establishment. Advancement, growth, security, and develop lifestyle. So this is where, from 30 to 45, or even for some, depending on where they're at, when kind of the pillars of adulthood, if you will, the getting married, the buying the first house, having first kids, when those things set in, kind of you move a little faster into this establishment stage, especially for a career. And so the activities for this stage is making independent contributions. So now instead of just being an apprentice, now you are a colleague. Your staff move into this range and probably are more like youth pastors, children's pastors, worship pastors, where they have more leadership, they're more established in kind of who they are in their career, but they're also establishing, building something within your organization right now. And so they're colleagues, man. They're trying to establish their identity, their career, and also establish themselves as someone who is able and should be given more responsibility and be given the promotions within 12 Stone. Which then leads to the next phase. Once those promotions happen and notoriety starts happening within the organization, is maintenance. So you're exploring, establish, then maintenance. Once you have your established and you have an increased role of responsibility and those promotions, and you want to maintain what you have. So you hold on to your accomplishment and you update your skills. So it's not that you're stagnant. The goal here is like I said, to hold on to those accomplishments and also to build on those, to constantly update your own skills and find ways of innovation and ways to challenge yourself. And as an organization, that's where you come in to help find ways to challenge those just those big kind of senior leaders in your organization. And so training, sponsoring, policymaking, they're the mentors. So these are also people that can come alongside the explorers, the people in the exploration stage, and then the apprentices to help mentor them and move them into the establishment phase. So usually ages 45 to 60 of this scale. And then once you kind of get into the 60s, the mid 60s and over, kind of move into the retirement planning phase of your life. This is disengagement. So you're just going to retirement planning, change balance between work and non-work. So you're phasing out of your work. So this is a time to also, find someone in that establishment phase to help them move to the maintenance phase for those that are in the disengagement phase of their life, of their career development. And this is great because, like I like to say, we should look at gray hair as a crown of wisdom And so those are the people in this age. They have gray hair, and so that gray hair is their crown of wisdom that you want as an organization to pass it on to those being in the establishment and maintenance phases of their life. So that is super's career development theory. The next one is burnout. Burnout is a big deal within the ministry. So pastoral life. So just some quick stats. You can see the 90%, 94%, 1,500, 25%, 45%, 60%. All these numbers correlate to a study done about pastoral burnout, specifically with reformed pastors, and them saying over and over that I don't have the community support I need. I don't have the counseling I need, the mentoring I need to deal with the burdens of the being a pastoral, having a pastoral career in that capacity. Dealing with the constant burdens of marriages, of divorce, of family life. Not just their own, but other people's needs in their congregation. And so this is part of understanding that, and then also just the sheer burnout of always feeling pressure to perform and pressure to have a perfect family, even though we know perfect is not a reality in this life that we have. And so this is kind of the foundation of the study for the rest of when it comes to the findings, conclusions, the implementations, recommendations, and the benefits of what we are proposing here for this study of career development and overcoming burnout. So the next person up is Ruby, followed by Erica. Thank you for your time.
Organizational researchers have shown that when we develop a sense of our best possible self, we are better and able to make positive changes in our lives. And this is what we're capitalizing on. Holland's theory of vocational personalities and work environments was developed to describe, understand, and predict the vocational choices people make. And so one of our recommendations is for the staff and the pastors and the new hires to take assessments. These assessments are not tests. It's bound in its purpose is to find the congruency and incongruencies, and so we'll be able to solve these challenges. The good news is that 12 Stone Church has already in place mentoring or career development programs. These programs are for both the volunteer leaders and the paid staff, and including the pastors of the church. They do have the church residency program, they do have the Wesleyan Leadership Intensive, and they do have the Coaches Leadership Network. And the bad news is that 12 Stone Church is a big organization. With all big organizations, the implementations might be a challenge if it's not followed up and supported. And so there is a need for continuous follow-up. And there will also be a need for budget and resources, both financial and time. Our findings and conclusions, we found that the organizational researchers have shown that when we develop a sense of our best possible self, we are better able to make positive changes in our lives. Holland's theory of vocational personalities and work environments was developed to describe, understand, and predict the vocational choices people make. So the good news of these findings is that the 12 Stone Church has already in place a mentoring or career development program. These programs are for both volunteer leaders and pastors. They do have the church residency program, they do have the Wesleyan Leadership Intensive, and they do have the Coaches Leadership Network. So the bad news is that because 12 Stone is such a big organization, the implementation might be a challenge if it's not supported or followed up. There will also be a need for budget and for time and resources. For example, if one of our recommendations is for the staff to take some time off. So when they do take the time off, it might be necessary to find someone else to cover for that task, and there will be a need to build a task force or a group that on the interim will have or will be able to continue on the operations of the organization. 12 Stone Church has grown from 3 to 8 campuses over the past 3 years. During the significant period of growth, ministerial staff has increased 60%. Staff, we found out that many of the new staff are external hires. And with the organizational focus on implementing the systems needed to operate each campus and just following up that demand, career development has been lost in the shuffle, and it leaves out the external hires with little to no path of career growth and discipleship in the culture of 12 Stone Church. And in the case of growth with no personal directions, staff energy can turn into an exhaustion, and burnout may be apparent, and involvement into cynicism may be present, and efficacy may turn into ineffectiveness. And so with that, we do have some few recommendations. One of our few recommendations is for the team members to take assessments. The Holland Occupational Themes assessment, we believe that it can not only give an outcome, but can also provide suggested fields to go into. We believe that this is an excellent starting point for those just beginning the discovery process. Another assessment that we recommend taking is the standout assessment. The only challenge that we'll see is that this will, since it's a paid survey, it will require budget and a little bit more time. But this is, we believe, a great assessment because it can have that power for those people taking it as a way to get to know themselves better. Another assessment that we think can be a good addition or a good recommendation is the core values inventory, especially in a church where values are placed upon an individual. It is important to know what their personal values are so that we can place or we can find what it is that motivate them the most. Other recommendations will be to give out an opportunity for all the team members and the staff to have an opportunity to enroll in the classes that matches their personalities and the assessment and the evaluations from their assessments, offering counseling sessions both for individuals and group, and also having a mentoring program for all levels. Another is giving benefits, both monetary and non-monetary, and providing time of vacation time and retreats. Lastly, will be building up support teams or task force to carry out what they may find as difficult tasks or job assignments and functions. And also this is also can apply to those times or instances where the other part of the team will need some time off during their retreats or vacation.
Hi everyone, my name is Erica and I'm going to be wrapping up this presentation, specifically talking about implementations and guidelines. So we have broken up our implementations into 4 different age groups, or 4 different lifestyles groups. So the first one is the growth and exploration age range. This usually caps out at about 24, and it's generally when people are looking for a set of strengths and tendencies. They don't exactly know where they fit in an organization, and they're exploring their possibilities within their strengths and weaknesses. This is a time of trying new things. It's a time of discovery, and for that very reason, this age group, this range is going to be mostly taking surveys, assessments, results, and trying new things. So the first 2 weeks, as you can see on the chart here in the slide, is all about assessments and results. So what do they like? What makes them tick? What gets them up in the morning, gets them out of bed, and makes them want to go to work? That's going to be this, and it's kind of going to be a pretty cool deal, because they're going to be working with people in the disengagement stage through a mentorship process, and I'll get to that when I talk about the disengagement stage. So they're going to be meeting with these people and setting up goals, short-term goals, long-term goals, kind of sifting through, what does this mean for me? How does this look? What does the future look like now that I know this about myself? So that's going to be up through about week 4, 4.5. And starting in week 5, they're going to do something really unique. We're recommending that they change departments. So if someone is more task-oriented and detail-oriented and loves seeing their vision come alive, maybe they should work in event planning. If someone loves one-on-one intimate relationships, maybe they should lead a small group. So just trying out different departments, different ways of serving God in this church environment. And throughout this process, they will be checking in with their mentor to make sure that they are having a positive experience. We would not want someone stuck in a place that they do not thrive in, do not want to be in, and ultimately will not benefit the church in. So that's the whole goal of this stage, is to figure out where can they most benefit themselves and the church. Leave each day feeling an excitement about the next day. And that might mean shifting around the norm a little bit. So that's growth and exploration. The next stage that I'm going to talk about is called establishment. In this stage, generally people are where they are. What I mean by that is, I'm probably going to be in my position or in a position close to mine for the rest of my life, at least for the rest of my career. I know exactly what's expected of me. I am no longer exploring. I'm no longer a rookie. I have made it as far as vocation comes. So how do we develop someone vocationally through that? Don't you worry, we have recommendations for these people as well. And this is going to blend in also with the maintenance stage. In the maintenance stage, these are the seasoned veterans of their stages. So these people, they know what's expected of them, they know what to do, they have had motivation, have risen to their position, they're in a higher position, and how do they excel in the day-to-day after so many years of doing the same thing day in and day out. So that's what the recommendations are going to be for here. If you look at our slide, the first thing for both of these stages is to develop a baseline of requirements. Make sure their job description fits what they're doing and fits their skill strength. We want to make sure these people in these stages actually fit where they are, because we're going to develop them where they are. And so within this of discovering what their job description is, we're going to lock down one area that they want to grow in. If you're a pastor, maybe you want to be a better public speaker. If you work primarily with children, maybe you want to learn how to connect with parents better. Whatever that may be, lock down one specific concrete area for growth. And then we're going to send you on a retreat. So this retreat is intended to be kind of a break. This group of people generally in the church experiences burnout, and we've talked about that earlier in the presentation about burnout, the dangers of burnout, and the reality of burnout. So a retreat is a way to re-stabilize yourself, come back to where you are. This church already does a really good job of sending their leadership to a leadership institute. And so to play on that, this retreat is not just, okay, let's go to Paradise and relax. No, this retreat is developing your skills, kind of like a Camp Mountaintop experience, but for adults. So we're going to send you on that for a week, and then you're going to come back, and we're going to give you benefits for continuing your education. I don't necessarily mean in a college setting. Continuing education could be setting time aside to watch TED Talks. Continuing education could mean reading a book. It could mean going to a class and getting a certification. It could mean learning ancient Greek in its totality, depending on what your goals are. But along with education, we also want to give you support. Burnout is also an emotional process, and pastors deal with a lot of really heavy topics. They are the front runners for marriage and funerals. They bring people together and watch people as they part. They go to hospitals. A lot of their job is extremely taxing, and we want to give you benefits for receiving counseling. So if you sign up for counseling classes, we are recommending that you give those people an extra day of vacation, along with more sick time. So this is a real tangible thing, and we are trying our best to recommend you guys to stop this before it happens, because once burnout happens, it's a slippery slope downhill. And especially when you get up into the maintenance stage, it's extremely easy to get burned out by the monotony of day in and day out, knowing what you're doing and not really experiencing very much growth. So that's that stage. And the last stage I'm going to talk about is disengagement. These people are the gems in your congregation. The people that are experiencing disengagement, they're learning how to step away from their responsibilities, and they're learning how to mentor people and train up the next generation of leaders. So the disengagement process in our recommendation will work directly with the growth and exploration process. And so the first step, and we're giving you 2 weeks for this step, is find a mentee. If you are in pastoral ministries, find an intern that wants to be a pastor. If you worked in payroll, find an intern that wants to work in payroll. Whatever your skill set was, find a way to pass it on to the next generation. Even if it's not necessarily your specific skill set, find someone to mentor spiritually. And so that's going to be your first 2 weeks. And then comes the very humbling and exciting challenge of giving up your responsibilities. The church values this group of people so much that they value their rest, relaxation, and time off as well. Consider moving people in this stage from full-time to part-time. Consider giving them more vacation. Consider helping them plan for retirement, which is actually going into week 4 through week 8 is planning for retirement. This could be anything as tangible as getting a legal consultant in to plan for retirement with them, or look over their finances with them, or simply saying, hey, what do you want to do after when you retire? Do you want to volunteer at church? Do you want to go travel the world? What activities are you going to be engaging in retirement, so that you're not just static and, so that you keep moving, keep active, keep your mind active, keep your body active, stay in good health for the rest of your life. So that's retirement, and it's really a time of honoring the people that have given their lives to this congregation and to this church. And through this process, you will see immense benefits, which leads me to the last slide, the benefits slide. So in this slide, we're going to talk about, this is an 8-week process. Why will this work, and why is it worth it? This process is worth it because you're going to see an increase in motivation, you're going to see a decrease in burnout, and you're going to see an increase in the kingdom of God. And that alone is worth it. Thank you.